where my name was mentioned as Barrister Adebayo Shittu, Honorable Minister, Information and Communication. I've also heard some people describe the name of the ministry as Ministry of Communications Technology. We used to have a Ministry of Communications Technology, but since the advent of this administration, the name had been changed to Ministry of Communications, and it stops there. So I think we need to keep this in mind whenever we try to describe the Ministry of Communications. Secondly, as I was coming in, I spoke with both Mrs. Uduma and Reverend Afolanyo that on a serious note, I would like to be provided with opportunity for registration of membership of NIRA in my private capacity. Because when I was appointed Minister of Communications from a legal professional background, I know that there were a lot of protestations from people like Reverend and so many others who wondered what a lawyer was coming to do in an ICT environment when he knew next to nothing about ICT. I am happy that within a period of 1.5 years, the umbrella organization of the computer professionals gave me an award of fellowship of the Nigerian Computer Society. I appreciate this, and ever since I've tried to do my best to understand and to give every support to anything I see. And looking at the fact that one day I will become an ex like our Madam Obi here, I would not want my relationship with the computer industry to end with my ministerial appointment. So I pleaded, and I'm happy that Reverend Afolanyo formally accepted my application for membership. Thirdly, it was mentioned that I came late. It is true that on the record I came late, but in fact I did not come late. I did not come late because I had a protocol officer on ground who was relating with the organizers to let me know when I should be coming. And I started coming when I was invited to come. So you therefore understand the lateness quotes and unquotes. Having said that, I would say that I'm very happy to be here. I'm indeed very delighted to join you today, as I'm always delighted to be in the midst of ICT professionals. I consider it a very great pleasure for me to welcome all of you to yet another edition of Nigeria Internet Governance Forum. I'm proud to say that I was part of last year's success, and I'm happy that I'm here again this year. I appreciate that the theme of this year's colloquium is Internet, an enabler for good governance. If I had a contribution to make when the topic was being formulated, I would have preferred to rebrand it Internet, a catalyst for good governance. Because I believe Internet has left the level of being a mere enabler. It has really become a catalyst in the sense that it speedily transforms everything that it impacts on. It is heartwarming to see the significant progress that the NIGF has made and the great impact that your work is making especially on the growth, adoption, and utilization of the internet in Nigeria. I congratulate all members of this forum as your group continues to provide leadership amongst the organizations that constitute the internet ecosystem with your continued hard work to unite the Nigerian technical community to drive the growth of the internet in Nigeria. We as the government recognize ICT as not just an enabler but a catalyst for economic growth and development. And we envisage driving the successful implementation of the economic recovery and growth plan of the country for the next 3 to 4 years by leveraging ICT. And that is really included in the document which encapsulates the economic recovery and growth plan. I note with pleasure that NIGF is a forum for multi-stakeholder dialogue on public policy issues related to key elements of internet governance issues such as the internet sustainability, robustness, security, stability, and indeed development. As you are aware, Nigeria already has a national broadband plan, the Nigerian ICT Roadmap 2017-2020, and an e-government master plan, all of which are aimed at ensuring that ICT reaches all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, that every Nigerian has access to ICT, that quality of service delivery by operators is substantially improved upon, and that our knowledge and information is not only secure but enhances our overall national security. We are indeed at a watershed moment for Africa as far as the internet is concerned, and it is critical that we are all conscious about that. Access to the internet has power to improve our everyday lives in so many ways. This includes expanding employment opportunities, creating jobs, increasing access to educational resources and opportunities, improving healthcare, saving lives, connecting citizens to public services, connecting people among themselves, and enhancing social well-being, just to mention a few. Nigeria is well positioned to take advantage of the socio-economic opportunities that the internet can bring to its citizens. Nigeria has a very young population that needs education, work, and much more. And the internet can help bring about all of that, probably more than any other technology or any other sector. But to create a future where the internet is for the good of all the people, it must be shaped to diversify diversity, inclusion, and equality, as has been propounded by Mrs. Ezekwesili. In today's world, these values are being questioned. The notion that it is safer to build a future apart than together seems to lead many of the world's stories. But as the Federal Minister of Communications, we believe we are better together instead of being apart. When people come together and share ideas, then if we all listen, we can make sure we have open, globally connected and secure internet for every Nigerian to benefit from. But every day we hear of events that erode the trust of users. Large-scale data breaches, uncertainties about how our data is being used, cyber criminality, surveillance, internet shutdowns, and other online threats are impacting internet users' trust, particularly on how they use the internet, and are hindering internet adoption. We recognize ICT as not just an enabler, but as a catalyst for economic growth and development, and envisage to drive the successful implementation of the economic recovery and growth plan of the country using ICT. We are also reviewing our national ICT policy and the National Communications Act to align with the present day realities. To reinforce the review process, we will be projecting the future by identifying smart, attainable, realistic, and time-bound targets to guide our actions. My presence at this forum is therefore well thought out and a symbol of the trust that we have in NIRA. I'd like to first of all express our sincere gratitude to NIGF MAG Chairperson Mrs. Uduma and her team for the success of this forum, as well as the collaboration with our ministry since 2012 to date, as we continue to focus on leveraging ICT for prosperity of our country. The ministry aligns with the goals and outcomes of the forum, which include but not limited to the following. 1, to facilitate emergence of viable alternative opportunities via active engagement of multi-stakeholders in a national discourse that addresses our nation's most critical internet challenges and build consensus on Nigeria's position at the upcoming regional and global IGF fora. And secondly, or last but not the least, to empower the use of our country on opportunities in the internet. I wish to reassure you all of our ministry's support to you and for you at all times. The ministry will remain steadfast in its effort to ensure greater progress and prosperity for all. While the ministry is taking the lead in the task of repositioning our economy by leveraging on ICTs, we cannot achieve this completely by ourselves. We will need and we ask for the support and cooperation of the organized private sector, civil society, as well as well-meaning Nigerians on this very important task. We are confident that working together, we shall succeed for the benefit of our country. We have embarked on a journey towards building a smart digital Nigeria as enshrined in the ICT Strategic Roadmap 2017-2020. This roadmap is consistent with the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan of the federal government. We envisage a society with the knowledge and means to make transactions anytime, anywhere, and by any and everyone. The ministry, under my humble watch, has attained some major milestones in its mandate of developing the telecoms and ICT sector. Today, Nigeria's active mobile broadband penetration has gone from less than 10% in 2015 to 20.95% in 2017. Nigeria's internet penetration on its own has reached a milestone of 47.44%. Nigeria is undoubtedly Africa's highest active internet users, with over 103 million subscribers as at May 2018, and ranks 10th globally. The bulk of these data subscribers are on 4G technology, with a good number of telecommunications providers now offering 4G LTE services. It is our belief that as a nation, broadband internet access should be the right of every citizen, just like water and air are to all of us. Nigeria has attracted investments of over $2.2 billion in submarine cables alone in the last 5 years. Active submarine cables into the country now include SAT-3/SAFE, GLO/1, that is GLOW, ACE, MIN-1, and WAX, with many other cables currently under construction. As part of our efforts to bridge the digital gap between the various communities, government has established the Universal Service Provision Fund, USPF, which continues to help develop the underserved regions of Nigeria, making telecommunications available to every Nigerian, potentially available to every Nigerian. We do have a national broadband plan and a broadband council that is driving the implementation of the broadband plan. Under this plan, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, is required to license new classes of telecoms operators called infracos to fill critical infrastructure gaps and enable broadband services on a wholesale basis by sharing infrastructure to lower the costs to end users. It is expected that all these efforts will help Nigeria transition to a digital and knowledge-based economy that gives the private sector the latitude to innovate and makes it very easy to access government services. We are pursuing this plan with earnest and will be glad to learn from your experiences. Government is aware of the difficulties faced by Nigerians in transacting businesses online. IP addresses that are traceable to Nigerians or Nigeria are sometimes restricted or outrightly blocked by major e-commerce sites. We are aware of the negative activities of some users in the past, so government has taken cybersecurity with all seriousness and has enacted the Cybercrime Act that leaves no hiding place for criminals online. I am pleased to inform you that we are better positioned regarding information system security so as to create confidence online for Nigerians and those who want to do business with Nigeria. With the abundance of talents in Nigeria, the global community stands to benefit from our skills force and our large market. It is indeed a new Nigeria that we are looking at. I am happy to remind us that a few months ago, JAMB's database was attacked by cyber criminals. It took NIDA only a few hours to pull things back on stream. Our own NIDA. With the ever-increasing number of new devices being connected to the internet every day and at an alarming rate, there is a need for more addresses than the IP version 4, the primary communications protocol that we depend upon, can accommodate. We are all aware that version 6 of it has been designed as a revolutionary upgrade to the internet protocol that will open the pool of internet addresses, which is 1 billion to trillion times larger than the total pool of version 4 addresses, which is only about 4.3 billion. This means that the total number of possible version 4 addresses is virtually inexhaustible in the foreseeable future. We recognize the fact that the uptake is still low in Nigeria and that there is need to step up awareness and capacity building in this regard. The Ministry of Communications supports initiatives that improve the accessibility of services and encourages the use of equipment and services that would be compliant with version 6. Government has established also the National IP version 6 Council to provide leadership and strategic planning for implementation in Nigeria. The Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria announced a few months ago that it has successfully migrated its network to IP version 6. Nigeria needs IP version 6 to get a huge population online. We need it urgently as we embrace advancements such as our Smart City initiative. Version 6 is the future of networks globally and a key communication enabler for building an Internet of Things, IoT. I want to charge you at this juncture, I'm talking of NIGF and other relevant organizations, to step up the awareness and advocacy campaign to ensure that ISPs, telecommunications operators, banks, educational institutions, among others, migrate to this new version. There should be more awareness and capacity building through organizing seminars and trainings such as the one we are here assembled for, and incorporating version 6 into university curriculum. Government on its own will provide some profit incentives to to internet industry to encourage them to deploy version 6-based infrastructure. We recognize that the internet governance is not only about internet naming and addressing. It also includes other significant public policy issues such as critical internet resources, the stability, security, safety, and continuity of the internet, and developmental aspects and issues pertaining to the use of the internet. Definitely, developing these policies will require wide public consultations with all stakeholders. I am pleased that you will do a lot of this in the course of your deliberations at this forum. We acknowledge as a nation the bottom-up multi-stakeholder consensus-based principles on which your community operates, and we did not hesitate as a nation to set up and give NIGF the necessary support to operate with the same guiding principles to manage the nation's top-level domain NG. I was made to understand that NIGF will continue its efforts to engage the industry in a multi-stakeholder approach to develop plans that include forward-looking capacity-building efforts, awareness programs, and assessment of relevant technologies all around its mandate. As a multicultural and deeply religious country, we have the moral responsibility to protect our culture, our youth, and other vulnerable groups on the internet. We take the issue of child safety, for instance, to be very important, and will continue to do all that is necessary to ensure that our youth are engaged in the right direction. It is therefore important that we use the internet as a tool to drive the education of our people and assure their socioeconomic advancement as an inclusive manner, or in an inclusive manner. The task of improving the lives of the vulnerable and the underprivileged is not for the government alone, but for all stakeholders. Many still don't have access to the internet. When people get connected, they can achieve extraordinary things. The internet must therefore belong to everyone. May I at this juncture charge you all to continue the public and stakeholder engagements that will facilitate the growth and adoption of the internet as a tool for enhancing the quality of the life of the citizenry. We in government welcome positive ideas that will bring development and growth to Nigeria through ICT. We know that the future is full of challenges, but we cannot turn the clock back. The use of data will continue to divide regulators and businesses as government seeks a more assertive role in the governance of the internet and technology, and will continue to push the boundaries of accepted normative standards. Regrettably, bad actors on their own will conversely continue to attempt to hijack the very nature of the internet so as to cause harm whereas it was designed to assist humanity. Despite this reality, we need to look forward to the possibilities that the internet has yet to bring. For me and for the Ministry of Communications, the promise the internet held 26 years ago still holds true. We continue to believe and advocate for the benefits it brings, its ability to inspire, and its capacity to change the people's lives. Nigeria represents dynamic change, new ideas, and the next generation of leaders. An internet that includes Nigeria means an internet that exists for the good of all people. One that is shaped by diversity, inclusion, and equal voices. Let's show the world exactly what we mean when we say we believe in an internet that includes everyone. It is worthy to note that government is currently working on resolving the perennial right-of-way challenges that has hindered improved connectivity in Nigeria and stalled drive for ubiquitous broadband revolution in the country. Besides, government plans to lay 18,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables to further help the country in meeting and surpassing the 30% broadband penetration target set for 2018. Broadband will drive the education sector, the health sector, the financial sector, the transportation sector, and the agricultural sector. Concerted efforts are also being directed towards achieving improved broadband penetration in the country. The future of the internet is unwritten but full of endless opportunities. In conclusion, our focus is on the need to uplift the lives of the people of Nigeria in particular and Africa in general. In this respect, we are encouraged by the considerable demand that exists in Nigeria and beyond to utilize affordable ICT solutions in everyday life. Your meeting today should further explore ways for Nigeria to quickly leverage on using the internet to achieve a better life for our citizens. I eagerly await the recommendations from these fora, which I strongly believe will add a lot of value to the implementation of our ICT roadmap. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the efforts of NIGF in hosting this conference. I would like also to thank the organizers for inviting me to be part of this. I wish you all successful deliberations, and may you have very enriching and very fruitful outcome. Thank you. May God bless you all.